Sally's point of view. I left the office feeling so dejected, ashamed and angry, not to forget disgusted. Sam really disappointed me. I couldn't return to my chambers. I needed to talk to her straight away. She needed to explain to me why she decided to ruin her life like that. I then headed to the workers' quarters. I knocked at her door. Then one of the maids that shared the room with her came to open the door for me. Sally, she bowed when she saw me. "Where is Sam?" I asked without answering her greetings. She was quite surprised to see that I don't usually visit their quarters except for inspection day. Then I noticed the fear that replaced her shock, which I wonder why. "She is not back," she replied. "Back from where?" I frowned. Not that I really know Sam like that. I know her family, and that is because there is virtually no one I don't know in the pack. But I've heard her colleagues teasing her a lot of times about her inability to socialize and catch fun with the men in her free time. She would tell them that she wants to use her precious time to sleep, and that she hates going out at night. The issue of her boyfriend that I got to know about, he said she doesn't have time for him, and he needed to satisfy himself was his excuse when I confronted him. I didn't know why I did that, but I still did. Or did she change or pretend to be someone else? I asked myself. "We are really sorry, Sally," Velvet apologized guiltily. Now I was really confused. I don't know if Sam already knows there will be consequences of what she did and told her friend about it. Or why else will they be apologizing? "Why are you sorry?" I asked. I didn't want to conclude that they knew, so I just listened. "Well, not that," she stammered. I got vexed and impatient. I didn't want this issue to get into anyone's ears before the alpha makes his final decision. But if they already know, what else could I do? Anyway, it still annoys me. "Say what you want to say." "I don't have all day, girl," I snapped. "I think we mistakenly spilled the news of John's betrothal to Sam." She rushed out. "What? How could you do this after my warnings?" I blurted out. Now I think I am getting some thinking about why she did what she did. It must have been a mistake when she was getting the news of her heartbreak. Now I really wanted to blame her roomies. It wasn't intentional. We thought she found out because we met her crying uncontrollably. We were only trying to console her, she said with guilt. "She was crying?" I asked. I wanted to know the full details before I judged the girls. Not that I wasn't still disappointed that Sam would stoop so low to do what she did. "Yes, she was crying, like something really bad happened," she replied. "Where exactly did she go?" "We don't have any idea. Velvet and I already went in search of her, but we couldn't find her Susan, who was already behind Velvet," replied. "Have you checked John's?" The girls shook their heads. I know they wouldn't want to go be the one to break another bad news to Sam. I would have loved to go look for her, but I am old and tired as well from the day's job. I would have also loved to send some gods to do that for me, but the circumstances got me handicapped. I didn't know what the alpha would say because I needed his approval to send the gods out this night to go look for someone. Moreover, if I send a search party and I discover she is in some ungodly place, and there is no cause for the alarm I created, I'll be in deeper trouble for not making sure to confirm before declaring her missing. When she is back in the room, make sure to relay my message that she must get to my office first thing tomorrow morning. It is an order, I said using my not joking tune. They understood me so well, nodding their heads severally. I then left thinking about how I am going to help Sam. Even if she stupidly did what she did just to attract herself to the alpha, I still needed to help her so her punishment would be bearable. She already has too much pain in her heart if she truly didn't intentionally do what she did. I can't even imagine how terribly she would be feeling now. Samantha's point of view. I was just walking aimlessly around where I didn't even know, nor did I bother to know. I don't have a destination. All I know is that I want to tire myself out. I was in so much pain that I didn't even notice my environment. Thinking about what I got myself into, I thought of running away from the pack, because the shame would be too much if everyone got to know what I sent to the Alpha. First, everyone must have found out that John already left me to marry the Beta's sister, and also if the news of what I did to the Alpha got to people's ears, they would think I was so desperate to have another not knowing it was only a mistake. Everything was so painful. I've never felt so shameful in my entire life. I hated John for all he has caused me. Now was the time I regretted not listening to my wolf. If I had listened to her, I wouldn't have been in this problem. Running away will cause my parents pain and make me a rogue. I am not even a fighter, so I can get killed at any time. Yes, getting killed gave me another idea. Killing yourself is not an option. Sam Crystal said to me, "What option do I have? The shame will be too much to bear," I cried. "It will pass," Crystal said sadly. "She has been comforting me all the while, which I didn't know she could do. I know she was telling what I was feeling, but since we've never been on good terms, I expected her to mock me. My parents will be so disappointed. I have brought shame to them. They will forgive you," she said. After walking for a while, a stone made me fall to the ground. I didn't even bother to stand up. I sat there and continued wailing. I was crying at the top of my voice, and my voice echoed through the dark. I was in so much pain. This pain has never been imagined by me. My wolf couldn't console me because I was inconsolable. I wept until my eyes started to give me pain as if needles were inside. Yet I didn't stop crying. It got to a stage where there were no more tears flowing, even when I felt like crying more. I laid on the ground, not minding to check if there is anything harmful on the ground. I even wish something will come and harm me. After a while, I decided to return to the pack house and face the consequences of my stupidity. Everyone knows about the Alpha's rage, and him not finding me the culprit will make him take it out on innocent others. That will be so wrong, and the guilt of hurting others won't let me rest ever, especially to poor old Sally, who trusted me enough to give me the Alpha's contact. I walked home slowly, thinking I should just disappear into the thin air, but I knew that wish failed when I got to the door to my room. I pushed the door open, and seeing that it wasn't ajar, I entered silently. I didn't want to wake my roomies so as not to answer any questions. I looked at my roomies, and their sleeping position made me know that they slept off while waiting for me to return. I didn't bother to wake them up. I just went to my bed and laid down. I know even though it was 2 a.m., it is still going to be a long night before dawn. I watched as my roomies woke up and looked at my bed straight. They rushed at me when they realized I was there. "Sam," they both called and hugged me. "I am fine now," I said with a stiff smile. Even though that was a lie, I was still as scared as a rat in front of the cat, but I needed to be strong for whatever awaits me. They looked at each other and then back to me as if they were shocked at how I recovered so soon. "What?" I asked, chuckling. "Are you truly fine?" Susan asked me. "Of course," I smiled. "I knew this day was going to come. What if I am the one who found my mate? It is the same," I said. Samantha's point of view. "Of course," I smiled. "I knew this day was going to come. What if I am the one who found my mate? It is the same," I said. "I know we werewolves are not fully in charge of our lives. The moon goddess is. The bond of a mate is stronger than any other thing on earth. I am not angry and unhappy because John is betrothed, but because he has been betrothed for a while now, and he didn't tell me. He even made me do that stupid video which got me into trouble. I hate him for being dishonest." "We are very happy to hear," that Susan said, and they hugged me again. I really needed that huge, because I knew very soon I was going to go to the querying room. "Quickly get dressed. Sally came looking for you yesternight, and she asked you to see her the first thing this morning," Velvet said. My heart skipped. They didn't know that they just told me the worst news of my life, but what will I do? I'll have to embrace it. I went to the bathroom without saying a word, and then had a very hot bath. Thanks to the Alpha, who gave us water heaters to save us the stress of boiling water. I walked slowly to Sally's office. I didn't even think of justifying myself. I just want to get this done. Jalen's point of view. I couldn't even focus on my early morning training, and I blamed the slutty girl for it. She has gotten me distracted since last night, and I can't wait to make her pay. I left my training and went to get ready for my day. I couldn't even have breakfast. All I wanted was to see this lady and punish her so badly. I checked my wristwatch and saw it was still 6:09 a.m. I know Sally would have been up since she would check on the maids. I then made a guard to go call her. I was supposed to use my phone, but the thought of seeing those pictures again wouldn't let me pick the phone and call her. In a few minutes, it was as if Sally was expecting me to call her. She appeared. Her face was not lively as usual, and I also blamed it on the girl. She was the one making me pressure the old woman. Alpha, she bowed. Where is the girl? I asked. She will be here in a moment, Alpha. I already sent her a message. She rushed out. Sit then, I said to her, pointing to the chair. Even if I was angry, I wouldn't keep an old woman standing. I still remembered my manners. There was a knock on the door, and I thought it was the girl. Come in, I said, ready for a good lambasting, but it was my beta Alvin. Alvin wanted to take the day off even before the incident, which I've approved, but seeing him now means only one thing. He came for the girl. Why are you here? Thought you wanted the day off, I asked him. Yes, but I won't leave you to butcher the poor girl, he said, taking his seat beside Sally. He bowed in greeting, and Sally nodded. What is that supposed to mean? I glared. See, Alpha, I know she did the wrong thing. She might just probably be a girl in love with her Alpha. It is no big deal, he said with a very calm voice. I just snorted at his words. No big deal. It was a big deal to me. I hate women with audacity the most. I want to punish her more. I don't know why, but I blame it on my temperament. Moreover, I don't know why this girl was getting into my head. That is the most annoying thing. It is a big deal to me. I'll punish her the way I like, I said cussedly. Came on, there is no crime in liking a person. Everyone has a crush. Alvin didn't give up. But there is crime in invading my privacy, I snapped. Just let this issue be out of your concern. I'll do whatever I want, I added firmly, making sure to let him know I was damn serious. No one said anything again as we awaited the lady. I picked up a file to work on, but I was fumbling with reading. I didn't know why I was so distracted, like it was really a big deal as I took it. This is not the first time I will see a lady's nude, and that was the reason why my agitation was making me so furious. My wolf is a very arrogant one, and nothing moves him but right now. He couldn't sit still. I know I was overreacting, but I couldn't control myself. There was a knock on my door, and with the way it barely sounded, I knew she already arrived. Enter, I said. The atmosphere became so tense. Even I myself paused to see the lady who has the audacity to send me her nude. The door slowly opened, making it seem like it was taking her hours to open the door. Anyways, at last she appeared. She walked in with her head bowed. Alpha, her words were barely a whisper. I couldn't say a word. What caught my attention wasn't her face, because I haven't even had the chance to see it. She was head bowed as she came in. What shocked me was her massive red hair. It was so massive and long. I knew she let it fall so that she could hide under the massiveness. I couldn't even speak for a few minutes. I just kept staring at her while Alvin and Sally were looking at me. I didn't know why I had this strange feeling. I don't even think I've seen the girl before. If I had, I won't forget her shining red hair. You are not here so that I can talk to your massive red hair. I want this hair properly arranged, I said firmly. I was glaring at her and angry that my rage was melting away. I didn't know why, but I was sure she wasn't my mate. If she is my mate, I would have known. Even my wolf would have acknowledged it. But there is this soothing feeling that I got from her being in the room, and I don't like it. She turned and was trying to quickly arrange the hair, but was failing. Sally saw this and quickly helped her tie it into a ponytail. I didn't know why she was hiding her face from me. She didn't know this would happen when she sent me her nude video. Look up, I ordered. I wanted to see her face clearly. She lifted her head slowly and was looking at me with her big blue eyes. That caused a rush of adrenaline in my body. It has never happened that someone would make my heart skip by just looking at me. Jez, she is the exact definition of a beauty in distress. I couldn't even take my eyes off her for a second. I frowned at the state of her eyes. I've never seen someone who looked so terrible and still be beautiful. Her big eyeballs were so red, almost like the color of her hair. Her eye bags were big, which was definitely caused by tears and loss of sleep. She looked so pale, as if she was going to faint at any time. I looked down at her pounding chest. The pounding was so vivid that if I used my wolf ears I would hear the sound. She was quivering, and I wondered why someone could be so fearful. But in all these I could see her beauty clearly. She is such an intriguing one. I swallowed hard seeing her. Looking at her was doing a lot to my body, but I couldn't stop looking. The state in which she is made me know that she didn't do it on purpose. It was definitely a mistake. I know someone who would intentionally do something wouldn't be looking this terrible. Still looking at her, my eyes fell on her body. Even with the way the uniform wasn't so fitted that it still showed her perfect curve. I've never seen someone who was chubby and so attractive. I wondered why I've never seen her in the pack house before. Jez. She looked so delicious in that dress. I looked at Alvin and Sally. I knew they were waiting for me to talk. Alvin was giving me a pleading look. He didn't even know I wasn't in need of it again. My anger has melted away. I wasn't a heartless one. Well, I can be sometimes, but with the lady standing here, I couldn't even do what I had in mind to her. I rested my elbow on the table and used my palm to support my jaw with my fingers covering my lips. I stared so hard at her that I knew any moment from now she is going to fall if I don't talk. "What do you bear?" S, she stuttered. "Do you want to talk, or I should make you?" I said. I wondered why my voice wasn't as stern as it should be. Many would have almost died with the heat of my anger. "Samantha," she replied with a low, shaky voice. "So, young lady, do you mind explaining to me the reason you decided to send me that disgusting video?" I asked sternly. Jalen's point of view. "So, young lady, do you mind explaining to me the reason you decided to send me that disgusting video?" I asked sternly. I sense Alvin looking at me surprised. They all expected me to explode. She quivered at my powerful, thick voice. I would have been less intimidating if my normal voice isn't as thick as it is. It. You better talk properly before I do what you wouldn't like, I threatened. She shook and almost lost balance. "I am sorry, Alpha," she said, quavering. "Did I apologize?" I snapped. She shook her head. "It was a mistake. I didn't mean to. I didn't know I marked it with the pictures I was supposed to send." I was so disgusted that she had such a video on her phone. With the look she has on, she looks so innocent and naive. But I know looks can't be trusted. If you don't have such videos on your phone, you won't have run into this shameful trouble. I eyed her, showing how disgusted I am. She bowed her head and started to cry silently. "How old are you?" I asked her. 27, she replied in a low voice. I was quite shocked. She didn't look that old. Then I knew she must have a mate. My heart somehow went cold. "Who is your mate?" That question was for my selfish use. I didn't expect her to be that old, and her having a mate didn't go well with me. A lady of her age will definitely be mated or betrothed. I could feel the look on Sally and Alvin. They must have been wondering why I was asking all these questions. She shook her head. Her answer seemed to be satisfying. "A boyfriend?" This time Alvin gave me an intense look, but I ignored him. She shook her head again. I saw Sally looked at her with a pitiful look, and I was trying to see if it was related to my questions. I even noticed that when I asked the boyfriend a question, her tears were flowing more. Then, using wit, I got the thought that she must have been heartbroken recently. "So who then are you sending your nudity?" I asked, as if it was any of my business. No one, Alpha, she said, sniffing. Are you lying to me? I asked sternly. My boyfriend broke up with me, she replied quickly. Oh, I raised a brow. Is that the reason you decided to send me your nude? I asked. No, I wouldn't dare do that. It was all a mistake. I swear, she pleaded. Who are your parents? Asking these questions, I saw her fall to her knees. Please, Alpha, don't tell my parents. They would be so disappointed in me. This will ruin them. You can punish me all you want. You can even hang me at the stake. Kill me, but please don't tell my parents what I did. They trained me better, and they don't deserve this kind of disappointing pain. Please. Alpha, she wept bitterly that I wonder if the water in her body will remain a cup. I frowned. I wasn't going to tell her parents. I was only asking to know if I'll know them. I have a large pack, and I wouldn't know them all. Well, if truly you don't want to disgrace your parents, you will think about that before you start doing a nude video talk or sending them by mistake. How slutty of you, girl, I insulted. She looked at me with sad eyes. I am sorry, Alpha, she pleaded. Well, since your maid job is giving you enough unused time that you don't have better things to do with it, I am going to add more work for you because I don't want such a thing to repeat itself. What if I wasn't the one you sent it to? What if you sent it to someone who will share it with others? I said with a scolding voice. She just bowed her head. Sally and Alvin gave a relieved look, but when they heard the added work, they shone their eyes but didn't dare talk. Your added job will be per time with the warriors. You will have to train so hard as a fighter so you can follow them and assist the nurses when there is injury at war, I said haughtily. I knew she is not staked out for that, but I didn't care. I need to punish her attitude. She looked at me in shock but didn't say a thing. She didn't even cry. Well, that is a tough job. Many times they had to go on sleepless nights for days. It is a good punishment. I'll be in charge of your training for the start, and then I can transfer you when I feel like it. Am I understood? Yes, Alpha, she said weakly. Now go get dressed for your first training, which is happening now. She stood up sadly and started to leave, but turned back to me again. What, you want to object? I asked harshly. Then what? I snapped. I've never trained before, so I don't have a training suit, she said. Sally, go take care of that, I said. Sally stood up immediately and left with the girl. I knew Alvin had a lot to ask. Say what you want to say, I said. Thank you, he said, smiling. Jalen's point of view. I raised a brow. Why the thanks? It is not as if I let her off the hook, I said with pride. I know, but at least you temper justice with mercy. I thought you were going to do worse, he said with a smile. I know a mistake. When I see one, I said nonchalantly. So rage gone, he teased me. Number, I am going to take it out on her when I do the training, I said. He laughed at me, and I almost smiled. Samantha's point of view. As Sally was giving her the training wares, she explained that it was hers when she was very young, so it was tight in a considerable way for me. Then I knew that Sally wasn't so slim when she was young for her clothes to fit into my body, even though it was a bit tight. It was showcasing my cleavage. Looking at the leather, it was an old one, but of good quality. When we got to Sally's room, I expected her to start scolding me, but she didn't even say a word. My tears are gone, but my heart still hurts. If you want anyone to talk to, you know I am here, right? Was what she said. You are not angry? I asked, surprised. I almost got her into trouble after she had warned me, so I did not expect her to say I should talk to her, but I should have known. Sally is indeed a mother who understands people. Why should I? I couldn't see her expression because she was behind me helping me with the leather belt, but her voice was calm. I disgraced you and got you scolded, I said, feeling guilty. I wouldn't lie that I was disappointed at first, but I am not angry. Everyone makes mistakes, she said with her understanding voice. Thanks, Sally, I said, hugging her. Now hurry, go meet the alpha before he changes his mind, she said, pushing me forward. I walked briskly through the hall. I was feeling so uncomfortable because I had never worn this tight cloth before. It was showing all my cleavage, and that I don't like. I wasn't in any way proud of my body. John has one time told me that my body looks like that of an old retired woman. But what could I do? It is my body. I was even happy that I had a boyfriend. That is why I make sure I please him. Didn't I even lose him at last? Most times I do feel like my hips are too wide for my age. Most times I thought I should have been slimmer like the rest of my age mates. But I am too lazy to exercise. I know that is one of the reasons John left me. I wouldn't totally blame him for not marrying me. The moon goddess too should have at least pity me to bond me to a man. The bond wouldn't let him reject me, but I think the moon goddess herself hates me. Getting to the training glade, I was wowed that I couldn't help but gasp at the largeness of the place and the equipment there. I've never been there because if you don't have a business there, you dare not go there. There were a lot of men there, and almost all of them were shirtless. I quickly searched the room to see if there was any lady there, and not long after I saw them at a corner training too. There were quite a number of them. I looked at them and smiled. But to my surprise, they frowned at me, and that got me wondering why. As I was trying to use my eyes to get used to the place, I felt a glare on my body. At first, I didn't want to care because ever since I've stepped out of Sally's room, different eyes have been looking at me. Some even teased me that I look good. But this glare was different. It was so hot on my body that I had to look in the direction. It was then I discovered that it was the alpha that was looking like he was going to kill me any moment from now. This made me remember why I was there. I almost ran to him in fear. As I walked, every eye was following my movement. It was as if 100 arrows were pointed at me. If care is not taken, I would fall any moment. Everyone was whispering to each other. I know it was for why I was there. You aren't here to sightsee, girl. I heard the alpha's stern voice. Apologies, alpha, I said with a bow. Yet the alpha continued glaring. Jalen's point of view. I was helping a pup train when I suddenly noticed a difference in the aura. It was so peaceful and comforting. Get me the rod, I said to a guy beside me, but he didn't even hear me. He looked so distracted. He was actually staring at something hard. I didn't look at what he was staring at, but looked at others because there was silence in the place. I noticed they were all looking in the same direction. Then I couldn't help but look at what they were so fascinated at, and almost drooling if some had not. Holy shit, I muttered. Standing before me was a very gorgeous redhead. I wouldn't have recognized her if it wasn't for her redhead. How cloth could transform people. Earlier, I thought she was looking sexy in her maid dress, but now I can't even explain what she is to be compared with. I was almost drooling myself. Thank goodness that all the men were so concentrated that they wouldn't have noticed me. She was super beautiful. I know the unmated ones would be extremely fascinated. She was looking so shy. When she starts to look around, I know she might be looking for me. I didn't want to call her. I've never had to call anyone before, especially a female, so I increased the intensity of my glare, and that worked. It caught her attention, and she rushed towards me. You aren't here to sightsee, I told her. All I wanted to do was to make sure no one noticed. I almost drool over her captivating body. Now that she was even closer, the atmosphere was hotter. I wouldn't deny not wanting to touch that killer body, but my pride disciplined my hands. Apologies, Alpha, she said with her little voice. To me, that voice doesn't really suit her. She is supposed to have a powerful voice with her killer body that will make her control men. I didn't say another word. I just moved on to the training. I am a man of few words, and that wouldn't change even if I am fascinated by her. How many times in a week do you run? Knowing how tight the schedule of the maids working in the pack house is, they only have time at late night or they're one day off in a week. So I don't expect her to run often. I don't run except I am on quick errands, she said to my surprise. This reply was very lame to me, because a normal werewolf will be eager to run in their wolf form every day. This is what our wolf wants. I myself run twice daily, except if I want to have Hort nag me to death. You don't take your wolf on a run, I asked, thinking she misunderstood my question. Yes, I don't, she replied. What? I exclaimed. That is barbaric, I couldn't help but add. Everyone looked at me at the way I exclaimed, wondering what got that reaction from me. As I looked at them, they quickly went back to what they were doing so that they wouldn't be scolded. That reaction wasn't totally my fault. How can a werewolf claim that she doesn't run? Her wolf wouldn't be healthy at all. I didn't even think something like that could be possible until now that I heard of it. I would have concluded that it was because she doesn't have a wolf if I am not feeling its presence right now. Looking at her face, I knew something was definitely wrong because she was so scared. Have you ever shifted? I asked. If she has not shifted before, she might not be able to take her wolf on a run. That is a considerable reason. Yes, I have once, she replied. Once, I exclaimed again. Now, I didn't mind those looking at me. I knew something must be wrong with this girl because once a werewolf shifts, they continue to shift and nothing can stop it. It is a forever thing. Is it that you weren't able to shift again? I asked. Number, I didn't try, she replied. This girl wouldn't stop amazing me, and with her voice getting low at every question I asked, I knew something was definitely wrong. What are you not telling me? I asked with a firm voice. Nothing, Alpha, she said quickly, looking down at her shoes. It was obvious that she was lying, so I decided to get the truth myself. If it is nothing, then show me your wolf, I ordered. I could hear her heart skip. I intentionally used my wolf hearing to hear. I looked at her face, and it was like she was going to cry, but I didn't care. All I want is to see the wolf. I don't care if it is deformed or not. Normally, when a werewolf has something wrong with their wolf, they come to the Alpha to see if there can be a solution to it. I want to know if there is something wrong with her wolf. Now, she asked me. When do you think? I glared. The issue is... I cut her off. I didn't need the explanation. I needed to see for myself. Young lady, do you realize you are wasting my time? I growled, which made her cower. Apologies, Alpha, she bowed. Now shift, I commanded. Please, Alpha, I have a request, she said with a pleading voice. Which is, can you be the only one to see my wolf for now? I have my reasons, she pleaded. As a considerate leader, I decided to grant her her request. I wouldn't want anything that would traumatize her wolf. The worst thing that could ever happen to a werewolf is a traumatized wolf. Fine, I agreed. Open that door and enter. That is my private gym. You can shift there, and no one will dare enter. I'll be with you shortly, I said, pointing to the door. Samantha's point of view. I knew I was done for when the Alpha ordered me to shift there. My secret will be finally exposed, but I had to try to see if I wouldn't need to show everyone. I was happy when the Alpha granted my request. I looked at the door where a signpost of no trespassing was hung. I walked through the door and I saw better training and exercising equipment, all having the Alpha's name imprinted on it. I felt like walking around to admire the equipment. I don't even know what they are for, but I know the Alpha can enter at any time. He wouldn't be happy seeing me roaming about when he ordered me to something, so I start to undress. Finally, someone wants to see me, Crystal said. Her voice was neither happy nor cold. I knew she wasn't happy with me ignoring her all the while. I didn't say a word. I just focused on undressing. I then start to shift. Damn, I swore, groaning in pain. Why is it still painful? I asked. The pain of shifting shouldn't be more than once, and now I am still experiencing it. When you haven't shifted in years, it is just like you just shifting, Crystal replied. Now I am standing on my 4 paws. I looked down and saw that my color didn't change from its sea blue. There is nothing you can do about the color. It is better you start accepting it and move on with your life, Crystal said with a weak smile. Cool air was blowing my guts, and I knew she was enjoying it. I could feel happiness emitting from her body. She was so happy that I shifted. I felt so guilty. I know that Crystal is a very calm wolf. If not, she would have driven me crazy. Now I begin to imagine how I would feel if it was me. I was going to start my apology when I heard all blue, Jalen's point of view. I watched her as she disappeared through the door I never allowed anyone to just enter. I justified myself that I am a good leader because I am trying to keep my members secret. I was still staring at the door when a pup ran to me. I never cared about the murmurings of others. I know they've created some kind of reasons in their minds about the girl. After I was done with the pup, I headed to my gym. When I opened the door, I was wowed by her wolf. It was all blue and with her gray eyes glowing. All blue, I said. The sight of her standing on her four paws in that glowing color was so amazing to see. I looked at her wondering why she wouldn't like to show off this beauty of a wolf. I know most ladies would be jealous of this color. Then, if not a physical deformity, there must be others. I moved closer and touched her fur. It was so smooth and satisfying. Her wolf bared her neck to show reference, and I patted her head. I needed to be in my wolf form to communicate with her. Hort was so excited to show her his own fur, too. Hort was always proud of his tiger color. He was talking to me all the while about how rare a blue wolf can be. I began to remove my clothes, not minding her watching me. She was a very shy one and quickly turned to save her eyes, and I smiled at her cuteness even in wolf form. In no time, I was on my four paws. Hort was looking at the female in front of him, and I could feel how peaceful he was looking. You can turn now, I told her. I had become Hort. She turned to look at me, and I could see how awed she was in her eyes. I know if I wasn't her alpha, she would have moved closer to feel my fur. You are not the only rare one, I said. I can see that alpha, she replied. So what do you bear? Crystal, she said shyly. I noticed that there was nothing wrong with her wolf. She was only too shy to show her special wolf. I knew there was nothing more to say. Hort wanted to stay to talk with her, but I had better things to do. I am an alpha and I have to comport myself, especially with whether a maid is beautiful or not. Ever since I've been having my ladies, I've not gone to my maids. I don't stoop so low. We need to get back to training, I said, and went to my clothes. I shifted and immediately opened the door and left. I could feel her eyes on my back. Samantha's point of view. The alpha called me rare, Crystal said to me. It is not a big deal. He just said that because he hasn't seen your color before, I said with jealousy. That is it. Now I know the reason why you didn't want people to see me. You think I am deprived. You are jealous of me and you despise me, she said harshly. I don't envy nor despise you, Crystal. Don't get me wrong here. I don't have a reason to be jealous of you. You are me and I am you. I am just scared, I corrected. Scared that I'll bring shame to you, she retorted. We are not having this conversation, I snapped. I went to my clothes and I shifted. All through the time I was getting dressed, Crystal was still nagging me. She hasn't even talked about this for a long time, and now she won't stop talking. When I got back to the alpha, there were some females with him. They were begging him to teach them some moves. The alpha told them he was busy and that they should go meet their master. This made the ladies sad, and they almost hit me when they were leaving. They looked at me as if I was the reason for the alpha's rejection. You start running around, he said, when he saw me. Me? I asked, pointing to myself. Running is one of the things I hated most. Not because of anything but because of my cleavages. There is no time I try to run so that people won't stop and make fun of me, at how my butt and breast jumps. What are you waiting for? The alpha asked sternly. I was so shy to run, but I know I don't have a choice here. The females were eyeing me, and I know they are ready to mock anything I do. I wonder why they are the ones to mock me when we are of the same species. I tried to see if the alpha will be considerate. Sir, I said, looking at my cleavages with a pitiful look. The alpha gave me a stern, not my business look, and then I know I have to start my run before I disgrace myself the most. I start my run slowly, minding those things that would shake. I didn't want to be a subject of ridicule, but the alpha wasn't pleased with the way I was running. I didn't say jog, I meant to run. I heard his thick voice. I wanted to cry, but I obeyed. I noticed that every male there was staring at me. I've always hid myself from males because they always want girls like me for sex mates, not for lovers. I want a lover. I decided to ignore all the ogling and focus on my run. The alpha made me go 50 lapses on an empty stomach. I almost fainted. This is not training as he called it at all. It is real punishment. And that was what I got for what I did. Go prepare me a meal, he said, after I told him that I was done with my 50 lapses. Yes, alpha, I bowed. As I walked, I couldn't feel my legs. It has gone numb from running. I was having body pains all over. I went to the kitchen straight to start setting the table for the alpha. It was past the alpha's mealtime, so no one was really available, except I asked them. I don't even know where to start from. You are done, Sally said when she walked into the kitchen. It is hell, I cried to her. She hugged me, not minding me dripping sweat. That is the least of the alpha's clemency, child. She patted my head. He asked me to prepare his meal, I told her. Don't worry, I'll help you set his table. Just go change, she said. Oh, what would I have done without you? I cried softly. Stop crying and make sure you are ready before the alpha comes, she said. Sally would have let me rest a little before I start my day's job, but the alpha insisted that I stand beside him during his meal and watch him eat. The funniest part is that he asked me if I already had the time to eat, and when I said no, he made me eat while standing beside him. It was a very funny scene that the maids that were there with me couldn't help but laugh. I would have said I hate the alpha, but I know I deserve what he was doing to me. At least he helped me keep the secret that would have destroyed my life entirely. I had to endure even though my feet were in so much pain as if I was standing on needles while my body too danced to the same tune. As if that wasn't enough, he even made me run errands for him. Our alpha hardly sent Maid on errands. He prefers to use his men that are faster, but today he used me. Even people began to wonder why I was running errands for the alpha. Today, there wasn't even a minute for me to rest. This punishment was just too much for me. I even worked past our normal working time. He didn't release me until 1 a.m. His last words got me crying. Now that you are extremely tired, you won't have the strength to make nude videos to whomever you are sending it to, he said blankly. I didn't say a word, but my tears wouldn't help but to fall, because the person who even put me in this trouble hasn't even sent me a simple hi. If the alpha continues to punish me like this, I would definitely drop dead by the end of the week. Getting to my room, my tears already dried. My roommates were not asleep. I know they were waiting for me to tell them what was going on. Even if I wanted to tell them, which I am not, I am too tired to think about anything other than talking. Looking at my face and how I am walking, they didn't even bother to call me. I didn't even greet them as usual. I just went to crash on my bed. I didn't even think of having a hot bath, which I am desperately in need of. Samantha's point of view. My alpha made me train daily. What I hate most is running around that training field. There is something I've even noticed. It seems like more men have been coming to the training field to train at that particular time. I don't really know the reason, but I know they do mock me whenever I run. The only person I've been expecting to show up hasn't shown up, and that is none else than John. Since 3 days ago, I've not even seen his back talk more than the whole of him. If it had been before finding out about his betrayal, I would have been worried about him. Will I even be worried after he dumped me into this problem? I even hate him the most. It was as if he knew something was wrong. He hasn't called me since that night. He didn't even text me for the video he used to put me in trouble. Well, even if he asked for it, I've gotten rid of it. I know when he later comes back, he would make up a big excuse like he always does. I am not a popular girl before now. All these people looking and making fun of me wouldn't even know if I exist if what happened didn't happen. John will definitely have heard of what is going on in the field about the fat girl, but I knew he wouldn't be able to trace it since I am not the only plump lady among the maids. Even if he knew, right now it is none of my business. He hasn't even contacted me since I told him what I did. What a heartless man he is. I didn't know why I got to love such a man. He escaped when I am in trouble. Well, he didn't literally need me. He was just using me as entertainment. But then I think even if you have a pet, you will at least check on it if it is fine or not. But I got none from my so-called boyfriend. Not even an explanation why he got engaged with Beta's sister and didn't tell me. I am such a dummy for ever thinking of a future with such a man. This very morning I was on with my newfound routine when a guy stopped me. I quickly looked around to see if the alpha wasn't watching me, and I saw he wasn't even in the field. I wanted to get done with this so I could leave this joke in a place. "Hey," he said, smiling. "What do you want?" I asked in a low voice. I didn't want him to cause more trouble for me. The alpha has zero tolerance for idleness, and I know how angry he could be. My heart is too weak to receive such rage. "Hey, calm down," he said, looking at my chest that was heaving up and down, which was caused by the running. "I don't think you know the gravity of what you are trying to do," I said, and tried to move away from him. He might like to get into trouble with the alpha, but I don't. The alpha's rage isn't something I'll joke with. The guy didn't let me go. Just want to know what you did to the alpha, for him to punish you with a run. His voice was filled with mockery as his eyes rolled in my body. Curiosity was so evident in his looks. Well, he wasn't the only one curious, everyone that saw me running. I know if the truth of what I did leaks out, I am so dead. The only thing that would be left for me is suicide. With them not knowing, I am being ridiculed. What if they now get to know? I am so done with my life. My fellow maids have asked me many times what I did to the alpha, but I didn't say a word. I am not someone who could lie blindly. If not, I would have. But it is better for me to keep my mouth shut than to mess up again. It is better for them to think about what they will do. I know they were not asking me because they pity me. They just want to have something to talk about. Well, with all due respect, I don't think it is none of your business, I said, and continued my run. He didn't stop me this time, but something else did. "Maybe she stole from the alpha," a female said. I paused to look at whoever said that. I was angry at her words. I've never taken what is not mine because I was satisfied with the little my parents could provide for me. No, she can't steal, and the alpha will tell her to run, a male warrior said. They were making sure I was listening to their conversation. I know they want to draw the answer out of me. Nonetheless, their words were so painful. I think the alpha took pity on her, seeing that she might die of obesity very soon. This time everyone laughed out loud.